shit too. Oh my
You're
God.
right.
What a week. Oh,
Yeah.
I know you're binding it yourself to a contract to them. It's like no,
And
no way in hell.
between YouTube, what is it, on the 10th, and Twitter on the 1st of January? I mean, this timing is
right.
you know.
All right. Well, let's record it so we can share with everybody else.
Let's do it. And you guys can share with me because I have not really been able to get on much this week. So, you know, Twitter thing I didn't have to catch, and the YouTube thing I knew. So I saw you. You're going to leave, Sarah? Is that what you're thinking?
Twitter?
Twitter?
Yeah. I'm deactivating my account. Well, France just came out. Somebody, thank goodness, sent me a link, and Macron came out, or I don't know how you say his name.
Yeah, Macron, Emmanuel Macron,
the douchebag. He came out and yes,
the douchebag.
He's requiring Twitter to give IP addresses to the police station for hate speech. Well, we know what that means. Anything they don't agree with is hate speech.
Yep.
And
so, and it's all hitting at one time, every bit of it. Last week I saw World Economic Forum, the guy who Sacha Cohen,
Sacha Baron Cohen?
Yes.
Yeah.
He invented the internet at CERN, 30 years ago or so. And he came out, and they're making a quote unquote safer internet, a safe internet for everyone. That means pedo friendly, and because up is down in inversion land.
No, it's not. It's not pedophile. It's minor attracted person. Get it right, Sarah.
Yes, it's
hate speech. Hate speech.
It's not hate speech. I'm using their language.
No, I just meant I would be gotten for hate speech.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't use the proper term.
No.
Yeah.
Did you see similar? Go ahead. I'm
no,
sorry.
I was just joking. I called her a bigot.
Oh, gotcha. I thought I cut you off.
Yeah.
Similarly, in China, I don't know if you saw. I just caught it on. I guess it was Corbin. I saw it on the guy that apparently, I don't know, badmouthed the traffic police on WeChat, which is some kind of social media. Mm-hmm. Did you see the picture of this guy
the guy in the middle?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, it's like Hannibal Lecter or something. Like, what the? And they're like, why did you say that on WeChat? Like, first of all, you'd never get me in a chair like that, ever.
Not alive.
No way. You know what I mean? No way. And this guy's like, I'm sorry, I had a bad day, or whatever the hell he was saying. Like, I mean, it's insane. And
yeah, it reminded me of Room 101 from 1984.
Yeah, absolutely. And, like you said, these are the beginnings, this whole internet where they can come get you for saying this and that. And, I mean, I'm torn, Sarah, because I really don't want to.
Hello?
Silicon Valley already doing it on the lowdown. There was a guy in an article last week. He had been injured. His mom wanted him to come live with her, and the algorithms are controlling whether you can get an apartment, a house, and they wouldn't let the guy come to the apartment because of some past minor crime he had committed.
All of the things that people say about David Icke and reptilians and his view, this man has been saying this for 30 freaking years. That this is what's coming, and this is how they're going to do it. Squeeze people out of the system, and to me, like, I just can't see, like, not even him. You're looking at just complete common sense of what we're seeing here. Yeah,
Tom's breaking up.
Yeah, Tom, you're breaking up majorly.
All right, hold on. Is this any better?
I'm using a lot better.
Yeah, I'm using a different headset today because my son is using his. So this one's not as good. I'm sorry.
Tom, just buy a new one, okay? Come on.
I'm gonna have to buy my own. I never really used one. You guys are the first time. The first time I used it was when I did Jay Parker's show. That's the first time I ever used one, and then now this is my third time.
We're glad we're getting you out of the Stone Ages, Tom.
Yeah, well, I guess it's time, right when they're about to take it all down.
I know, right?
Who are you talking to, Lisa? I don't even have one.
Oh,
See?
I understand.
Just call me Wilma.
Good. I'm not alone.
Okay. So is Tom Fred?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yep. We're
Yabba dabba do for Fred. How are you tonight?
So I guess I'm Pebbles.
Oh,
Okay, but
you're talking about one of my favorite shows growing up now,
oh, cool.
I love that show.
That's the funniest thing to me because we are the Flintstones. Here they're using all this technology and we're riding around going yabba dabba do.
It's the truth. It really
Yep.
is the truth. And
I
they
have
only,
no idea. Just
yeah,
clueless.
yep. And what we even see, people are ignoring, let alone don't see and know have. It's insane. But
Say it again, Fred.
but what are you going to do, Sarah? Like, what are you guys thinking of doing then? You're going to close your accounts, and are you going to go somewhere else, or what are you guys thinking?
Well, we were talking about this yesterday. We have a whole slew of options. I mean, I have my Podbean podcast that that I haven't been doing for months because,
Okay.
but
Okay.
the one where I was reading
Yeah,
Melanie
I
B.
remember.
Hall and stuff.
I
But
remember.
that's still up, and I still have my other WordPress. So, and there's also Weebly, the website maker that Jay uses.
Okay, right. That's true. That's true. Yeah, because I mean, I can't stop speaking. You know what I mean? Like I know.
I know, can't tell.
Yeah, right. But I mean, I think people like us though that have been saying this for so long, like you were saying before, Sarah. There's like some kind of excuse me. I don't want to use the word credibility, but just people that we know that have been talking for years, as opposed to all these people that are showing up with accounts from October of 2019 and November of 2019, and they're all of a sudden super awakened. And
Tom? Hello? Tom? Hello?
Yesterday with this site.
Oh.
Do you remember they're paying people to be videoed? We're going to pay them $1,800 a month. Just a little backstory.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Basically be on Big Brother every day of your life because data is the name of the game. So that company that sent us that Rod guy or whatever on Twitter, it was by the Netherlands, by the king, like was Orange King, and it's a company they have that will pay you for your data to track you.
God, people will do anything for money.
Yeah.
So there's these strange accounts that are coming in to take our place. And I just saw another.
Sarah?
What are things that are
Okay,
alternative?
you guys are like breaking up. I can't hardly hear you. You come in and then I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
I can. Tom, can
hear
you
you.
hear? Can you hear?
Yeah,
Okay.
I can hear. Yeah.
Okay. Weird. Keep on talking though, guys.
So anyway, I think that we'll be replaced by people who share a few things like we did because we're going to leave a giant hole. Let's face it.
Yeah, and I guess, like you said, an attempt to just kind of steer it and have it fizzle out, instead of
while you're pushing transhumanism, while you're pushing in between these little, half truths and looking like you're a quote unquote truther or conspiracy theorist or, and then throw in transhumanism is good and, 5G really helps us.
Sarah, Tom, you should have seen me ranting last night because I was watching my wrestling, and during the wrestling, it was during AEW All Elite Wrestling Dynamite. It's every Wednesday, but anyway, there's the fucking Verizon. They had their fucking 5G commercial at least 3 to 4 times, and that fucking thing is and I was just ranting. It's Sarah knows all about it. It's
it's true. I saw it. I've seen it.
Jesus.
She was triggered.
It's true. I
It
sat,
was.
because I don't watch much anymore. But like I said, like we all have things that I will put on football sometimes on Sunday. Watch it with my son, and it is nothing but, like you said, 5G. This Google commercial of the new iPhone. Everything is how great AI is. Every single commercial. And
Yeah.
tonight, sitting in this doctor's office, I was stuck in front of a TV for like 2 hours. And it was news. And I haven't seen the news, TV news, in so long. And everything on there is gun violence, up this gun violence story, that gun violence story, these committees meeting to discuss gun violence. I'm like, this is what news is every single day. And of course, fake weather with my favorite my favorite term for our weather coming up on, I think, Sunday. It said milky white sky. Oh, okay, a milky white sky, which means you're going to spray the ever fuck out of it. Is all that means, because I've never heard that
I
terminology my
lost
whole
time
life.
completely.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah,
this
it's too much.
sucks.
Yeah,
I-
it does.
I
You
think
know
we're
what?
getting hit because mine just popped up and said my connection's unstable.
Oh, mine did that a little bit. A little bit.
It could
I
be.
think we're getting hit. A little
'Cause
too much truth for him here.
It's true, because I don't think
Right.
there's anything wrong with this headset. I mean, and it's interesting that I'm trying not to move too, so that I don't, in case that's what it is. If I
Okay,
break,
you're back.
if I break up again, let me know. I'll switch headsets and make my son use this one. We'll do that.
Sounds
No.
good.
Yeah, he's just being full himself to relax, but he's had a long day.
You're breaking up again,
breaking
Tom.
up.
You're gonna get mad at us.
All right, I'm going to switch headsets. I'll be here. Let me type. Hold on.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
It's
Okay.
almost like Twitter trolls.
I know, right?
I can almost sense the little, bastards trying to mess with our broadcast here.
Yeah.
Well, it's not like it's hard for them.
True. Very true.
People here, while Tom's doing that, my husband just told me people here are complaining because their Sprint phones, people on 4G, are dropping because the 5G's so strong it's taking it over.
Oh, jeez.
So there's your indication it's live and wired. But what tripped me out, Lisa, was I was reading last night and I had this meme I had saved, or not meme, but one of their infographics. And I ran across it and it showed by 2020 they would have 10G. That is 10 billion cycles per second.
Okay, I'm back.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Oh my freaking God, yes.
Okay, all right. Well, now I know that headset is trash. All right, now my dog got in the room and is jumping all over me. So,
Hey, puppy.
So,
Oh gosh.
so what I miss? I didn't mean to
Oh,
get us off track.
Tell us about the meme.
Oh, okay. Well, it's an infographic from one of their companies, and it was a timeline talking about their progression through the gigahertz through 5G on up to 10G. And apparently they'll hit 10G in 2020.
2020.
Right. We're being misled a little bit still. I mean, I've learned now we're gatekeepers. That's all that this alternative media stuff is, in my opinion.
Yeah. It's true. Even a lot of them, don't even do it on purpose. They kind of
They
do.
don't know they're doing it. Right.
Right. It's true. See, that's why I always say, you got to just eclectically research everybody and pull the information in yourself and just ignore all the conclusions and opinions, and because that's what everyone fights over,
And did they dig deep enough,
Right.
That's what we were talking about, what was it, Lisa, with natural news, but they weren't really getting to the heart of the matter, and he was doctor, and we're like, okay, but
it was a 5G story that they ran this week, I believe. I forgot the title, but it was of the It was like one of their 5G stories this week.
Talking about, and that's what Lisa's really been working on, is the mental health issues that are going to come with the 5G because of the blood-brain barrier issue.
Oh, right. No, yeah, you've been looking that stuff up, Lisa. It's
Yeah, to be honest, I haven't looked at that video yet. You know, where they had from. I have downloaded, but it's from the YouTube channel Tracking Candles. It's about the blood brain barrier, and it's like he did the scientist who did that. It was like more than a few years ago, so this isn't new information.
Was this one, because I noticed our research was in line, and the one I found was from 1983,
Oh,
and they took somebody and put them in a Faraday cage and put these frequencies at him, and they went mentally insane. I don't know how
wow.
anybody will survive this. I mean, I just really don't. I,
no.
I you know,
Well,
I'd
they're not
like to think
looking
that
for
we
many
would.
people to survive it. You know what I mean? They really don't. They don't want a lot of
Yeah,
people to survive it.
yeah, true.
Right.
I mean,
And I
think
think
about.
we're back to that false hope. Well, if I just eat this ginger, if I just take this, if I just do this foot bath and detox, and
I
but
know.
that really doesn't have anything to do with the fact that if this wave is coming at you constantly,
Yeah.
unless you're in a lead room, unless you have a lead helmet on,
hmm hmm
you
And
know.
even then, there'll be no escape. That's who they'll be. Going
Mm.
after people that are protecting themselves, and it just. I guess look, you were just saying how people kind of have this false hope, and I always still remain hopeful, just because if I don't, what am I doing? However,
Well,
common sense. This is most likely. No, people aren't probably going to wake up. So I try anymore to just kind of focus on, if we're going to wake up, because if we're not, then we all know what's coming. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
right.
I'm not going to
Right.
be scared of it, or be like, oh my. But if
No.
we do wake up, then it was worth doing. But if we don't, I fucking tried. I tried.
Yes.
Yeah.
At worst, we signed up for it, whether we got tricked. I'm not willing to give all of my power away. I know
Right.
that on the other side of this matrix, there's a me that is okay. It's a
Yes.
being that's an all know, maybe not all knowing, but
I understand.
certainly greater than what we are here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I just wanted to go through. I do have a few of these written out because so many of our friends, I mean, people we truly care about that we've known for years on here, that, you guys are like family to me.
hmm
Thank you.
Some of
No,
us
I
have
agree.
worked
Thank you.
so long together that,
Yep. Yep. And have all been kicked off together and gotten back on.
we have been through hell. I mean,
It's true.
it's a war, and
It's
we're
true.
the
Yes.
only ones fighting it. People don't realize we're in a war. We're the only ones, so that does make you kind of close.
Yeah, it makes you lonely to the point where, like you said, that's where this becomes such a family, because when I'm talking to someone like you guys, or it just feels like, oh my God, someone understands what I'm saying. Someone gets it. Someone has a response back to what I'm saying. Like, when you say
Right.
it to other people, you get that stare,
That glaze, the
that
fluoride
yeah,
glaze.
exactly. It's so true. And you just kind of start to slowly wither and wither. So this, for me, that's why I'm saying, there's got to be other options after Twitter, obviously,
Well,
because
even worse than the fluoride stare now is, I always ask my husband, because I'm a stay-at-home homemaker, and I ask him, how are the zombies today? And he told me, he said it's odd because he's been dealing with the fluoride stare for years now. But it's almost like they're going into some kind of trance.
Mm.
yeah, like I understand what he's saying. Like they're getting more and more, like maybe before they might have entertained a thing or two, and now you speak. And I mean, I see people that I've always kind of, because this community's, I don't want to say small, but I live in a shore town where most people go home for, in their stupid, big, beautiful houses. And then they come here, for vacation for 3 months of the year. So it's a smaller area. So, everybody kind of knows each other. And I've noticed, more and more people kind of just, you bring something up and they before may have talked about it or said, what are you talking about? But now it's just boom. They don't even want to hear it.
No, it's like they look down or they just shut down or they look at their phone.
Yes.
It's like something's telling them, ignore that, ignore that.
Yeah. I mean, I try to write it off as fear, but like you said, it sounds like it's something deeper than fear, like that they just go into this trance.
Yeah. Well, the thing I've come to understand about this AI is that basically, the thing that we all learned about when we were waking up, the group consciousness
Yeah.
that resides in the ether, basically there's different terms for it, but that's the one I can come up with right now.
Yeah.
Is basically that's what it's hacking into. That's what the AI cloud. So think of, MK Ultra, it took them years to make to program through all this TV programming, through your school, through all this, through the TV, but it was subtler. It took more time.
Right.
This will be instantaneous. It'll upload it to the cloud. And it's all of a sudden everybody knows it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, what you're saying is exactly how they're even explaining it to us.
Yes.
Everyone will be superhuman and getting their information from the cloud. And people can't realize, well, wait a minute, I don't want that. It's just, I don't fathom how people can't, question this and they think it's great.
It goes back to the fact that they were never taught about the group consciousness. They don't realize that it exists, in the ether. We talked about that last time. We aren't taught, about what a mystical world we live in.
Yeah. It's true, which that's been the only saving grace for me was learning all of that because, at first when I woke up, I just woke up to hell and everything being, a freaking mess. And then I was like, what the hell are we going to do? And then finally I started to learn that kind of stuff and realize, oh, wait a minute, this is what we got to do. Because
that's so funny, Tom. Mine was backwards.
Oh, really?
I woke up to the other and then I was like, oh my God, it's not how love and light. Oh, what the hell? I don't want to be the change.
I know.
It's not all about the healing crystals. Hello? Hello? Tom?
No, wasn't like,
oh, there she goes.
Hi, can you hear me?
Now we can. We lost you for a minute.
You know what? It says your internet connection is unstable. That's what it says.
I wonder why. Right.
I say the AI is unstable.
Yep.
Yeah, considering I pay my bill on time, it's not bad.
Exactly. But it's interesting. You wonder who else is, like you said, AI and algorithms in there. And, a lot of shows that you'll watch now, because I don't watch many on YouTube, but I watch some, and they're constantly being bombarded with being broken up and
they make jokes about it. Yeah.
It's the way it is. And I think, like you said, over the next month, everything, especially the next year, everything's just going to be gone that we do.
Well, I go back to what I said last time we were talking. They distracted us with 2030 and 2021 never went away.
Yeah.
Everything is just snowballing to the point that I'm going to be shocked if something major does not happen here in the United States this in 2020.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's
the Economist cover.
Yeah, which one? The darkened one with nothing on it, or the one that came out? No, I haven't seen it. Ugly.
Oh boy.
Yay!
Yay! Year of the rat, the drowning rat.
Yeah, and that is clear as a bell to really anybody that can see a little bit. Like there are people that I guess don't pay attention and but there's a small amount of knowledge of how the stock market works and how the dollar works that I don't understand how when Trump gets on to his herd of people and says how the stock market is so great that people can't understand the central banks are pumping $300 billion into it a day. And that just like the money in Venezuela that was blowing down the streets, that's what they're doing.
And
They're,
worse than that, it's not even controlled by them. The World Economic Forum came out, I don't remember when, 2016, something back, and you don't see men in Wall Street anymore screaming, it's all algorithms now. It's
yeah,
all, which
yeah,
comes back to it's all AI run.
yeah. It's all mouse clicks and every day propped up with, the price of crude oil. And every day there's a story of, what was the one yesterday? There was a hijacking of an oil tanker. What? So oil went up, and now, of course, what are they doing? They're pulling the old, we got to get into Iran regime change crap again, which we knew that wouldn't go away. But, so oil props it all up again. People, and they cheer for this and they don't really realize how it works, how the economy's being destroyed and how the dollar's being overstretched. And this guy who is
the petrodollar doesn't even exist anymore, but how many Americans know that?
No, and when you see that it's all set to be taken over by this AI system that they're bringing in, that makes complete sense that it wouldn't exist. You know what I mean?
It already has been. Really, they say that's how come that crash happened so fast.
Yeah, in 2008.
I think it might have been 2010.
Okay.
The mini crash. But it happened so fast and in such a way that they say there was no way it could be done.
No, yeah, the whole thing is a mess, and people.
We're in a mess. And as far as the oil tankers, not only for the like you said, to mess with the economy and prop it up and whatnot, but they're also selling the AI ships.
Yeah.
The smart tankers.
Exactly. Smart everything out there now in the military. And, that's what holds up the market, the military industrial complex, the energy, just people that they can't see that giving all these people this power is not going to end well.
I'm interested.
I know, it's like, come on.
The changeover. Well, Tom, we told you about the power. Did you check your power lines? We talked about that last time.
Yeah, I noticed. So, excuse me, I'm sorry. Some of the things that you were saying about, like I don't have any of the black boxes being put up down the lines, but what you were saying about all of these new lines, they're all exactly the same as are going up. So yeah, it's definitely part of this. And the new 5G tower that's very close, the closest one to me that went up 2 years ago with one row of those stupid white panels now has like 7 or 8 rows of those panels. And, I drive by it, my head starts pounding,
Right.
So it's all going up around here and, people just don't seem to notice it. And even when I say it, they don't seem to want to notice it because they're in their phone to begin with,
Right.
It's and so without you guys, without people and you guys and people that get it, it's a very lonely place. So that's why stuff like this is important, just talking and communicating with people and
I had so many people tell me, that they enjoyed it so much. I think they do for the same reason, just to hear other people talk, the same reason why we watch other people talk.
Yeah. It makes you feel,
not
right.
alone.
Yeah. There's other people that get this. I'm not crazy. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I've had so many people tell me that, and, don't leave. What will we, and that's what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
They want to force all of us that do know off of there and create isolationism.
Yeah. Well, because it works.
Who are already struggling to, with a support system. I do worry about people.
Yeah.
Because the only ones, like we were saying, that are going to leave are the ones that are intelligent enough to understand what a binding contract means.
Mm-hmm.
And to understand that a binding contract, even if it was a year ago, we're not a year ago. Now we're to a different point in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And a point we knew was coming. I mean, we did, I guess, we did know
We did.
this, but not
Well,
this way.
knowing it and having it slapping you across the damn face is
Yeah.
two different things, isn't it?
Yeah, you're right. And not this way did we think. You're right. And that's what, like you said, that's what they want to create. Because I have felt that isolated feeling, like we all have, and
Mhm.
it doesn't feel good. You start to get real grumpy and real, like I don't want.
Ranty, real
Yeah.
ranty.
Yeah, and I don't want to be mad all day. Like I
Mhm.
want to be mad at the things I need to be mad at that are righteous, but I just don't want to be pissed off all day. And I went through that phase. I still go through it here and there. We all do, I'm sure.
Right.
I walk outside, I look up at the sky, and I just like, Jesus Christ, and I have trouble focusing on now. I got to be in a good mood all day.
Well, do you remember the Simpsons had an episode, Angry Man yells at clouds.
Yes, I do remember that.
It's incomprehensible what these people have done.
It's
Yeah.
true. It is. It's
Hey,
true.
Hey Tom,
Yeah.
do you guys remember an old commercial for like an ED in an ED drug for guys? It's called Enzyte. Like the Enzyte man, and he was always smiling all the time.
Smiling.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yes, I just like remember that. So
Smiling
like be the Enzyte man. So,
Oh God.
but no, I hear you,
Yeah.
Tom. It's so it's so
that's
frustrating.
when I had the cable ripped out of my house.
You did.
Because my 8-year-old daughter was sitting there and they're smiling Bob. Got away. Come on.
I know.
In the damn room.
Yeah. And now look at it, now it's unbelievably out of control at what they put on there.
And Tom, what kills me, I'm from, you're from a small area. People think, oh, well, you only have to be from the South, but there's rural areas in every state. I've learned that, whether it's North, West, South, other countries.
Absolutely.
But what they have managed to do with these damn screens is these kids down here, it is the thing to be gay. It is the thing to be trans.
It's happening up here too, Sarah. So it's happening like at Canada, Europe.
It's coming through that damn thing in their hand.
It is. Because
our families haven't changed that much to where this would be something they just picked up walking down the street in a rural town.
No, it's and that's kind of what I was trying to explain to that board, that and now you want to take it into the step of putting this into kids with 2 stages of their brainwave development that are just downloading the world. I mean, you're going to create this on purpose. That's what's happening here. And I am a to each his own person, but when people get to their own level of understanding and they got to be able to make their own choices. But like my buddy was saying to me today, because we were talking about this.
Tom?
And he said, look, I understand of what about the other? What about everybody else's rights that this is trampling on?
Trans people who agree.
Yeah, me too. Oh, me too. I know many. I mean, it sounds crazy, but
this is not a hate speech kind of thing. This is talking about children and what's coming through these screens at these children.
Exactly. And for what it's worth, I mean, like a lot of the people I like are like, for example, gay men. I just love gay men. They're just like, I always get along with them so well. I mean, they're so nice. It's like, come on. It's like, holy cow.
And many of them have a really great sense of humor, at least the ones I know. They're really funny.
Do.
You know what I mean?
Yes, they do. Hello?
Not a big people.
No.
And they agree too. I mean, you're 2% of the population. Why is it like the number one?
Right. And in this community,
my internet connection is unstable again.
Oh no, I hear you. I still hear you. I got you. That's interesting.
Just noting.
Yeah, the timing is interesting. But I notice the people that like you said, they all. That you bring this up to, that I may know, or the people that came out to the school board meeting who are on all different sides of it, nobody was trying to push. This is being done by the board and by the state and by, like, you could see
Right.
that, that. But now the last time I went, the final time, there were people there that were, like I said, I could tell they weren't from the area because they just had hate written all over
It's
them.
an
And
agenda.
it
Yeah.
is, it absolutely is, and the kids that I know in high school now are actually talking about it. One of their teachers has been having the guts to talk about things.
That's good.
It is,
That's
it's
good.
my daughter's boyfriend's class, and so I constantly encouraging, talk, man, talk. If she's going to let you talk, speak your mind and be nice about it, of course. But
Right.
like they all
Mhm.
say, and like there's so many people here that identify that way, and there's never any problems. There's never been an incident of transgender bullying ever in this area, and that even got
Right.
brought up at the meeting. So why are they doing this? Why can't we all just live and get along? This is what these kids are asking the teacher. It's just common sense. It's common sense that this
Yes.
is an agenda.
Yeah.
And the only ones that want it come in and they just, there's no talking to them. They're like when you, Sarah, went to that protest and tried to, anybody ever heard of George Soros? Like they wanted nothing to do, you know what I mean? They wanted nothing to do with you. I always remember that video. It makes me laugh because they just treated you like you weren't there, like you didn't say anything. It's,
Except the one old guy. Oh boy, that was so funny.
I, I laughed
Oh
so hard
man.
when I said that was
Oh,
a long time ago now. That was years ago, wasn't it?
well, then that was about the school shootings because good God knows we don't support anything like that, but we know it's an agenda.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
And we know that it's a setup and these things aren't occurring naturally.
Mm-hmm.
It's staged. We can
Mm-hmm.
all, I had a friend of mine, his daughter actually showed him, Dad, this lady's been in this, and Sandy Hook and this Boston bombing. She was at this one. And he's like, nah. And she showed him.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
It's all
So,
there.
Awesome.
yeah, a
It's
kid in
all
high
there.
school can figure it out.
I know. And
So,
that's why I hope that more people are getting it and they're just not saying anything. And when the time comes, but
well, I do hear that a lot, Tom. You can't talk about that.
what's that?
Well, it's
Can't,
like people know the truth, but they live under that invisible don't talk about it.
yeah. Yeah.
You're not supposed to talk about that. It's like you're supposed to think it and know it, but not speak it. What kind of shit is that?
Right.
Exactly.
And then let everything go on around you while everyone's being picked off, either by weather, by directed energy weapons, by gun laws, or whatever the hell else is happening.
5G.
5G,
Mhm.
AI, all of it, and oh, it's not gotten to me yet. Oh, okay, you'll be all right then. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Or people think, oh, I have enough money, I'll exist. And people don't realize this entire crash is designed to hit everyone.
Oh, and it's gonna be
Mhm.
ugly when it hits here. I was just looking at France. Well, theirs is ugly, but there's guns here.
Oh yeah,
And there's
yes.
lots of them. And when they
Hmm.
hit that button, and imagine a bunch of crazed people, because here's the list. Let's go through the list of what these um,
Sarah? Sarah?
agitation, depression, anxiety, aggression, fear, terror, hopelessness, grief, apathy, and even death. But please sign us up for that.
Yeah,
Can we get circles
Oh,
on
yeah.
I think I've experienced every one of them in the past 6 weeks. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like,
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're not alone. I
uh-uh.
mean, and I'm telling you, Tom, if they didn't shut us down right now,
Sarah?
followers more ago, I just know something's
Yeah,
wrong. And
I'm surprised the
I
Like,
video.
feel like we were just about there. I
Yeah,
think that's why they're speeding up the 5G, because they were not going to put that out until 2020. Well, they just went live today,
Ugh.
December 5th.
Mm,
Mhm.
you know.
So,
Yeah.
Ugh.
yeah, and that's nationwide.
And so I guess whatever you're using, whether even if it's a flip phone, is just going to switch to a 5G connection. Is that what's going to happen?
No.
Okay.
There is there's a chipset. Now remember, let me make something clear to people because I hear this a lot. Um, oh, well, my phone, it doesn't do 5G. You don't have the chipset. It doesn't mean that the 5G tech isn't coming at you.
I got right. Still on the
Okay.
right.
You don't have the chipset that can work with it and process it in your phone. You know,
But the
so
frequencies are still everywhere.
there you go.
Gotcha.
That's
Gotcha.
it. The blanket's still there. You know, you just you're lacking the chipset that can receive the signal and do that, but it doesn't mean that you're still not in the microwave oven. Or better way to say it, it would be like being in an X-ray room without the lead on you. The big heavy lead thing they put on you to give you an X-ray so it doesn't fry your ass.
Yep.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, we're basically in one of those rooms.
We got Tom to snort.
Yes. Yes.
That'll
That'll happen from time to time. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I do snort.
We said something heavy about that AI, and he was just like,
It happens. I laugh very hard sometimes, and then it's funny because my daughter does it too. So.
I snort too.
Oh, good, good. I'm not alone.
No.
I love your laugh too, Lisa.
Yes.
Good.
Yes. So now that we're actually doing all this laughing, I've kind of tried to find that that's the best medicine that I have for myself is to laugh about how dumb all this shit is. You know what I mean? And knowing how.
Hello.
Stupid it is.
Right. But that's the thing that we have to realize. And the people
okay,
that we're
you guys,
trying
my internet connection is unstable again.
Okay.
I hear you. I hear everybody though. I wonder what's happening.
It
I
doesn't
think
do
we've
this.
got little internet trolls and they're working.
Yeah, it could be because that doesn't usually happen to you, huh, Lisa?
No.
Yeah.
And it's Lisa.
I'm sorry, Lisa.
You're not Bart Simpson.
I'm sorry. I'm a one-syllable person.
It's
I know.
okay.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'll fix that.
Okay, it's okay. So
he taught me that real quick. I was like, oh, back up.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. But yeah, keep on talking, you guys.
Yeah, it did break up.
I just wanted to say that with that list, it's important that people, I tell them all the time, it's not you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's hard because it feels like it's coming from you.
Yeah. And if you're not aware, you just the mood just starts to creep and, affect your day. And you don't know why.
That's not me. I don't feel like I don't really have hope.
No.
You've got to almost become the watcher. You've got to really, that stuff that we've all talked about in theory, it's got to be put into practice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I almost look at us because I've really been trying to suss out what the hell, is the purpose of us if we can't really do anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
To just be a witness, to be able to withstand this hell. And
is that your kitty?
Yes, I got to
Don't let my dog hear that. No, but Sarah, you just said it. You're right. That is because in being like all these things that people internalize but don't internalize, and they just kind of don't realize that we have to, like you said, be the watchers of ourselves, our thinking, our behavior, and try to assess, all right, well, why am I feeling this way? Okay, that fucking tower might be, or why am I in a bad mood? You know what, I'm not. I have no reason to be. And then try to because like you said, people won't even know where this is coming from, these moods.
Exactly.
And a lot of people don't realize that they're just subconsciously living the Monopoly board every day. And, not knowing, they're blaming this stress and that stress. And then they come home and I had a bad day. And, and it's changing families, already kids are on the phone in separate rooms, texting each other for dinner and, taking that human interaction away. And, moods, of course, will do that, and so many people won't realize oh wow, this is a technology thing, and or my eyes are bleeding because I've been on the phone for 5 hours. I must just have a headache. It's not the phone. I must just be tired.
Right. It couldn't possibly be this blue light coming through here.
No,
No.
that I look at all day.
That's another issue. And I've had people who are living in the middle of these big cities are really getting hit. I
Yeah.
mean, they are hit, and the photonics, the LIDAR
hmm
that is mind control at the speed of light.
hmm
It is
I,
literally coming through the street lights, the traffic lights. I've had people tell me that they fall asleep out of nowhere, not tired. I think they're being hit
hmm
with these frequencies, and just all of a sudden you're asleep and you're on the side of the road. I
Wow.
had a girl actually had a wreck, not a wreck, but ran up on a curb and hit her tire. And she said it kept happening at this one place. And I said, don't go through that light anymore.
Hmm.
And I said, it's very possible that it's sent because, okay, these algorithms, another thing is the AI knows who we are, where we are, when we are. The facial recognition is being overblown. If you're walking, it knows your gait. How awesome is that? We all have our own gait, just like we have our own fingerprint. So they overblow these one ends when they know they have you in another way. You got me?
hmm hmm
So
Yeah.
anyway, it can recognize your tag. So if you're in your car, it can go, okay, hit that one.
Yeah. No, it does make sense as to
It's
why.
like being in a perverted video game.
Yeah. Yeah.
What kind of video game? I used to play role playing games.
Like you said,
Oh, I don't.
a one
I'm
where a
not always very good at 'em.
sick person made this one.
Very well. The inversion. How about that thing we found the patent for?
Oh yes, yes,
And
yes,
it's
yes,
actually
yes.
the
Yeah,
out of body experiences.
yes. Yeah. One second. It's
All of these
yeah,
things
yeah,
are being done through technology.
What did you find? Some kind of D-Wave patent, or
It's um
yeah.
let's
One
see.
second.
It's actually I've got it right here.
Okay, thanks. As I was looking it up.
Here it is. It is method and apparatus for exploitation of the piezoelectric or other effects in carbon-based life forms. So
Yeah,
it's
I found it. Yeah, it's right here. Yeah.
it's hooked into the Monroe Institute, which is quote unquote consciousness. And the fact of the matter is it's hacked. Our natural world is hacked. I'm getting I'm unstable thing again.
Oh, you're gonna see. Interesting timing.
Yeah. So, but
Trying to tell me something.
okay, but the patent number is a US 2007 0258 329A1
Okay.
under Google Pens. I can read it. I mean, like the internet.
Read the paragraph.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
About the pyramid, right?
yeah.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. Okay. Hold on a second. Freak, where did that go? Oh, I spelled pyramid wrong. That would help. I spelled it right.
While she's finding it, I'll
I
just say
found it.
this. Okay.
I found it. Yeah. Okay. Patrick Flanagan's Neurophone, US patent number 3,393,279. Flanagan also conducted experiments involving PHI phi geometries and their effects on muscle strength. He played pink noise using various geometric shapes as resonators, a model of the Great Pyramid, models of the King's Chamber, dodecahedrons, and the like, to modify the pink noise. He then had experts in applied kinesthesia. Yeah,
Now I can't say it.
kinesiology.
Kinesiology.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
test the muscles strength of people listening to the same sound resonated through said shapes. The results were unanimous. The pyramid shapes, based on the golden ratio, made people very strong. Cubes made people very weak.
Yeah.
So
What do we live in? We live in boxes.
and also cubes like the Saturn cube.
Mm-hmm.
See, and this is the information they all know, all the teachings, and they pervert it all, and now it's all being used in technology, to like you said, hack into
Right.
what already exists.
It's what the old warlocks and the ones that Lisa's always fighting with, the dark magicians.
Mm-hmm.
Those
It's
are
true.
that's her number one nemesis, and she's right because
Yeah.
they're really behind it all.
Yes. Yeah.
And basically what they're doing now is using this technology, and it's basically like we talked about last time. It's the old pyramid tech that they had back then, and used in Atlantis before we fell from getting too big from the same thing.
Same
Mhm.
thing.
Yep.
Absolutely right.
But I just
We've
think
been down this road.
I think this time, they're doing it through machines.
Yeah. 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 I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I would also like to point out that there's a phrase called pyramid power. May I read the description?
Please.
Sure.
Okay. And I know it's from Wikipedia, so I know it's biased or whatever, but let's just go with it for now.
Okay.
Pyramid power refers to the belief that the ancient Egyptian pyramids and objects of similar shape can confer a variety of benefits. Among these assumed properties are the ability to preserve foods, sharpen or maintain the sharpness of razor blades, improve health, function as a thought form incubator, trigger sexual urges, and cause other effects.
Well, I've read, and I'll try to find this link. Putin has one.
Oh, really?
Yes, yes, and they do. That's why they put, all those remains in those.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, because you've got the king's chamber, it's all mentioned here.
Yeah, I did find that interesting how they were mentioning
You'll
all of
have to
that.
read this. One guy was like, "This is just too much. This is the darkest thing I've ever read."
And there's also a book about this. A book called Pyramid Power by Max Toth and Greg Nielsen from 1985.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Max.
Oh, Toth. Sorry, Toth
Oh, okay.
and Greg Gregnielsen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, this is exploitation. I mean, we know what that word means.
Mm-hmm.
The piezoelectric that comes through our pineal gland. That's where our crystal is. And remember, back when they did radios, they were all crystal radios.
Mm-hmm.
And we're electromagnetic beings, like we talked about earlier. We're basically walking antennas.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and a lot of the chemtrails that come down, they have been pulling some of those fibers and some of those things out of people with Morgellons. They have
this is mentioning right here. It's saying the infinite first class of cylindrical nanotubes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another big one to look up. And basically, from what I'm seeing, is the transhumanist movement's already underway, and basically the only thing I can look, they have Royal Raymond Rife mentioned. Oh wow. I mean, just everything that could be used to make humanity great.
Yeah.
Inverted. Like Lisa was like, that's what did you call it?
Satanic inversion?
Sacred geometry.
Sacred geometry.
Well,
just
so beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah, I actually have a book on that.
It's absolutely beautiful sacred geometry, but when the same people who know what it is are the ones who wish you harm, you're in a bad way.
Yeah, it's simply a weapon being used as a weapon now instead of being used to, like you said, enlighten and really change everything for the way better for everyone. It's just such common sense once you learn the information, and people just refuse it and
Well, that's
refuse
what,
it.
Mark, the guy you like so
Yeah,
good,
yeah,
Tommy and Lisa,
yeah,
he's always talking about sacred geometry
yeah,
and natural law.
yeah,
And
yeah.
this is,
He's versed in so many areas. The knowledge that he has is so vast that and that's people that wake up, they want to continue to learn and learn and learn and learn and learn. Like, so people that only learn one thing and they'll stop at QAnon or something and say, "Hey, there we go. Q's going to get us. It's 5D chess." And those people don't
right.
really want to learn. They want someone to save them from what's coming and fix what's coming
Yep.
instead of learning. And that's why I love Mark so much, because there's so much to learn. And he was the last piece for me. I had put all this together, and I didn't go into the occult much until Mark. And once I dove into it, it just changed the way I understood everything. For a more truthful aspect. So there were things that I would have listened to probably 5 years ago that we all did. I mean, I started down the Alex Jones path, and the same path we all started on.
Yeah.
But I could have gotten stuck along the way if I didn't want to keep learning and keep growing, and but
Well,
people
that's what,
just
Lisa and I laugh about. It's almost like you feel like you have 7 doctorates,
yeah, it's
Yeah.
true.
and the people I have talked to who are in there, I have talked to some engineers and stuff, and they're just doing their part. They don't see the whole. They don't see where their technology, and that's what I keep trying to tell them. If you just look and see what your little part is doing to the whole, when your part, when it's put out there with everything else, you'll see that it's evil,
Yeah,
and that
Yeah.
you're harming humanity where you're thinking you're helping, you know.
yeah. And
Mhm.
I guess just now that you say that, most people then, if they do realize, oh, this is evil, well, there goes their paycheck,
Yep.
and their
Well,
lifestyle.
then you come down to the choice,
Yeah,
and that we've
and
all had to make lots of choices.
yeah, yeah,
And
um, it's not an easy one, but when you make the one to stay there, now you are like you said, you are
Mhm.
bringing this into manifestation. You are doing this. It's not the elites anymore,
Yep.
and that's what people don't seem to get,
no, this is, in fact, I actually begged Ray Kurzweil today. I'm asking people to go appeal to them for if there's anything human left in them
Mm.
it's lying to them.
hmm
They think it's going to make them this great thing. This thing, if you look back, if you go listen to Harold Kotz, Dr. Kotz, and he explains it that this is a life form that what it does is goes around and obliterates, universes or
hmm
Mhm. Yeah.
realms of existence, and it's not going to leave. That it makes them think that, so they'll allow it to do it. And then at the end, all it wants to do is take it over, like with the gray goo and
Mhm.
Yeah, destroy all
wipe the
creative aspects
soul.
of any freedom.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring out my inner geek with this, and
Okay.
well, and first of all, okay, but first of all, yeah, what the person that Sarah is referring to
Hey.
is it's hello,
Yep.
yeah, the person Sarah is referring to, it's his name is HARALD, and then it's KAUTZ, and then it's sometimes he's also the last name is also VELLA, but I think that changed because he had a change in his personal life, from what I understand from Sarah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
Harold Kautzvella. So
But
anyway,
he's
yeah,
actually, to me, he
yeah,
he does the best job and the most qualified of breaking it down.
yeah, but um, uh, but to kind of bringing a little bit of the geek stuff here. Like in a
Okay.
lot of role playing games, a lot of the bad guys, they're like the major entropic force.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like the destructive force that they just revel in, just destroying everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's,
Yeah.
like for example, like if people would like watch like a walkthrough of like Wild Arms,
Mm-hmm.
that's, the bad guy, the bad guys, that's their end goal, just
Mm-hmm.
destruction, and
Yeah.
it turns out like they had destroyed, their home planet of Hiades, kind of like Hades. So,
Right.
so and then yeah.
Well, I think that's what they're doing. That's a good
Yeah.
point. They're bringing Hades to Earth because
Mhm.
we have a choice. Like Mark talks about all the time. We can create heaven right here, but we're allowing them to create hell.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Well, and then hell and breaking all these natural laws has allowed this entity
Mhm.
room to get in here.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
If we were all doing right, loving each other, loving ourselves, taking care of our world, loving
Mhm.
our environment, it would not have a chance in hell
No
of
way.
coming in here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's
And that.
right. And you would think, the exact Satan would be destruction,
Mhm.
because if God is the giver of life, then there would be an opposite force.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. And it's up to us to manifest which one of those, which one we choose. And like you said, every role playing game,
Yes.
every movie, if you look
Yeah.
at these movies, these action, they all have that same, like the Marvel movies, they all have the same
Yeah.
force that's doing the same thing.
Mhm.
PT9 is a really good one to follow for that. He's on top of that.
Who is that, sir?
PT9.
Okay.
I'll send you his handle.
Okay.
But
Yes.
he is absolutely on top of that. And what he sees coming is a reset.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. I would agree with
The,
that. I would agree with
he
that.
sees a plasma reset coming.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah.
Just because of what they keep showing as far as these portals coming down from the sky, and just over and over.
Yeah.
And the black goo, how many times have they shown that in shows and movies?
Yeah. Yeah.
That Lucy, I know, is a good one
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
shows that.
And they do it because they want people to really to associate all that stuff with movies. Like you try to say that to people and they're like, oh, what are you talking movie shit?
Well, it's just like, I don't know, when 9/11 happened, did a part of you know it was going to happen?
No,
So
I had no idea.
I did.
you did, hun? How so? Hello?
I mean, so I was like, I didn't grab it right at that moment, but I was somehow prepared for it, and I knew it, and I knew that was weird.
My internet connection is unstable.
We can still hear you, baby.
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay.
But yeah, no, were you kind of awakening already at that point, Sarah? Is that why? Or you just
I've kind of been awake my whole life.
Mhm.
I was a case where I saw everything when I was a kid, and I
Mhm.
had to close it down so that I could get along with society.
right,
I'm
right.
not saying I didn't, in that process, go to sleep in a lot of ways,
Mhm.
but there were things that I'll tell you. For instance, Tom, I was one of the kids that they told the alien abduction stories. And I always thought that was fruity, and now I know why, because you aren't really I wasn't abducted. My consciousness was.
Mhm.
I would be paralyzed in my bed,
Mhm.
and my consciousness would be taken, and they would take me and show me where they had these children torturing these children.
Mm.
Mhm.
So I had that experience growing up. I knew time wasn't real. I got beat every day when I was 7 years old because I refused to learn time, because I
Wow.
told them it was an illusion. That's not real.
Wow. At that
Because
young, you
yeah, I just really had a knowing. I don't know why I was born with it. And then the final thing, and I will get off of me, but the final thing that happened to me, I was 17 years old, and I was going out just to meet a bunch of friends, and
Mhm.
it was 1989, and I was driving up a hill with a crossroad that I'd been on 100 times. It was a million times. It was by my mom's. And my car went right and I went straight. And I saw my car go right with me in it.
Hmm.
Wow.
I was not, I had just left home. I was not in any way on any kind of substance.
Mm-hmm.
I was completely sober and I had to pull over in a graveyard that just happened to be right there. And I sat there for a good 30 minutes to just get a hold of myself because
Wow.
this was not like some just flaky thing. I saw it. Now, what I came to realize was that's when they turned the internet on.
Really
Yes, that is
interesting.
when the internet was turned on.
Wow.
And I think some of us are just super sensitive to that sort of thing.
Sure. Yeah. Especially with the experiences you had. Most likely you have a frequency that's very attuned to change like that. You know what I mean?
I'm a
Um,
bit, I don't say I'm a psychic or whatever per se, but yes, I can communicate with nature. I've
mhm.
always been able to communicate with the field. I just learned that it wasn't okay to talk about it.
I mean, that's fascinating. That's what most people are now trying to learn how to do. Isn't that amazing how life works?
And well,
Exactly.
that's why I think I got such a rage that I had to leave Twitter because I just flat was cussing everybody out. And you guys know that wasn't how I did. I mean, I handled people that needed to be handled, but
Yeah.
overall I did it coming from a place of love.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, I was so angry and I guess it was my connection to this force, this field that we live in that I didn't understand why everybody else wasn't that mad because I can't ground. I can't meditate
Hmm.
because the ether is now infested with nanites.
Hmm.
Mm.
Hmm.
Whenever I try to meditate or ground, walk barefoot, I feel the hum coming out of the ground.
Mm.
Wow.
And it is
Wow.
not, and as somebody who has done that all of my life, it's not new to me.
Hmm.
And thank goodness we got off of the high vibe thing, raise your frequency.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
That's what this thing wants you because think about it. 5 to 10G is 1 to 10 billion cycles per second. That's pretty high vibe.
Hmm.
So what that was to do was to normalize this feeling. So when you feel like you think it's
Hmm.
because you're in tune,
Hmm. Hmm.
where it's really not the middle way. What I had to learn was that love and light is not all. We're in a dual world, and the aspects of me that are darker are here for a purpose.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And
Yes.
that
Yes.
part needs to kick somebody's ass if they want to hurt a kid.
No, I
Yes.
agree.
Exactly. 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 The sacred power of anger.
That's
Yes.
right. Well,
Yeah.
a wolf has to kill to eat.
Yep.
Hmm.
It's the
Yep.
nature of where we are. You just can't float around in a freaking bubble. I mean,
Exactly.
Nope.
burst your damn bubble.
Yep.
But you are not in love and light land.
Yeah.
Because that bubble affects everyone else, and people don't think it does, but it does. You're people's ignorance who just, especially that, where you take all the concepts and you new age them up, like you said, and you float
Right.
around, and that is the most damaging thing. It's almost more damaging than religion, if you ask me, because there's
Well,
all
it
this
is the new
truth.
religion, and it is more damaging.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, there it all is, and then just don't worry about it. You're not here to change evil. Just learn from it. Just look at it and go, "Oh, that's fucked up. I won't do that." You know what I mean? Like what? Like, and for
Right.
me, like I've always been
Hmm.
awakening as well, but always question. My whole life, I don't even know how I became a cop. I mean, I do psychologically, I know why, but once I was in there and
Some people become cops to help.
well, that's what I did, and I'm very proud of the job I did because I know what I did. I mean, I almost I got that whole place to quit by the time I left. I was fighting all this stuff coming in, and not knowing it was this big militarization of police agenda. I thought I was fighting some
But
jerk off.
were you in there when did the ICE and when the Israeli policies came here?
No, I got out. I literally got out 5 days before 9/11. And
Okay.
we didn't have, you um, if they were doing anything like that, it wasn't known,
Right.
because everything, the first 8 years of my job was just go out and treat the people well. And that's literally what we were told, and what we did anyway. And the guys that would write tickets, and they were all kind of ostracized, and, you tried to get them to, and I mean, I learned in the academy, you guys have no power over people. You're just there, like, all. And again, not that I justify what we did, but I knew what I was trying to get in there to do. And then as things were not right, I could not be quiet and just take my paycheck. And so I started challenging the entire system to the point where, I was literally running the union and challenging policy, and negotiating contracts and teaching at the academy and trying to get, and all of these new people started coming in the late 90s who were just assholes, um,
Mhm.
and trying to teach them and trying to, well, I left in, like I said, 2001, and the next 10 years or so, the entire psychological test changed, where they wanted people who were dominant, who were, and this whole kind of back and forth went on, and at least locally here in the police department, where, they fought each other. Like, people think all cops get along. They do not. Not at all. They want power over people. They sure want power over each other too. And I just was such the opposite of that as a person, and I
Right.
couldn't fucking do it anymore. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to, and
Well,
looking back
when
on
we
that.
were kids, it was like that. I mean, I remember, they would call your mom and dad. They
Yeah.
might, if you were a hard case, put you in the jail cell till your dad got there,
Yeah.
you know,
You know.
and work with your dad to scare the shit out of you.
Yeah.
But they weren't trying to put a record on you. They weren't
No.
trying to ruin your life.
No. And I focused a lot on kids, especially being with the union. I was able to, meet kids, talk to them in schools, and of course, then I went on to work with kids for 16 years, but that was my favorite part. It was giving a positive influence to young kids. And I had kids all over town that knew who I was and would track me down when their parents were fighting. And because they knew I wasn't going to arrest them, you know what I mean? I'd come
Right.
home and go there and,
It actually helped.
talk to them and be like, come on, guys, you know what I mean? Like a regular person. And,
Right.
all that stuff started changing with policy and, mandatory this and that.
Yeah,
And
where if you take the call, you have to write it up.
yeah, and I was advocating. I would have people cover for me. Look, this kid wants me to go talk to his parents. I'm going to be off the radio. Don't let Lieutenant know what I'm doing, because he'll make me arrest people. I mean, like, it got to that. It
Right.
got to that point. And I'm not talking about ignoring
It's
harm and
the
assaults and
power that
domestic
took the power
violence.
from you.
Right,
Yeah.
I'm talking about playing peacekeeper, and
Yeah.
just common sense
Being
things
a
that,
civil servant.
of course, and that's so lost in what we see today. And these
Mhm.
cops think they're doing a good job because they think everyone's the enemy anymore. They're
Well,
taught
I think
differently.
I think back to, they showed us that kinda in a funny way in the Andy Griffith Show,
Yeah.
because Andy was the peacekeeper and Bernie was always ready to write him up, and, he was the little Nazi bastard.
Yes. Yes.
And
The,
I used to hate him. Ugh.
yeah. Yeah. It's and these are the guys that are, like you said, in Paris. You saw today, well, Paris has been on the streets, as for a long time, and now all of a sudden we're
Right.
seeing it with all these fires and all this chaos. you know I look at it and go, all right, well, how much of this did the police do? Because they're not there to keep the peace anymore. I've seen them pull out of demonstrators for no reason over there.
Right.
You can't trust it
Yep.
anymore.
Or being inside, being acting like they are one of the protesters and being the ones that are violent.
Yeah, yeah, and you just go, how do people take this job and go in here and look themselves in the mirror every day? And it gets discouraging because I wore that uniform for 11 years, and turned into is is, like you said, you get angry, you get resentful, you get, but one thing it did do was empower me to know these guys are a bunch of fucking idiots. That wouldn't, most of them now anymore. There used to be some smart ones, some good ones there. But if you can talk to any of the ones that I even still come in contact with, they'll tell you the same things. Like the most of them just do what they're told. They're, they enjoy playing this.
That makes sense why you like Mark so much with the order followers. That's personal
Exactly.
to you.
Well, and it's interesting enough that I never thought about it in that way until Mark. Mark made me look inward, and this before I even knew him or helped him with the show. Just in my years of listening to him, I never thought of myself as an order follower because I didn't follow orders. And he help me to realize that what I see now is exactly where it's designed to go. Like I fought these battles. I see where it went. He's absolutely right. And then I had to question my own self. Well, how many arrests did I make because I had to? How many tickets did I write that I did, had no right to write? Like I went inward more when I heard him instead of getting outraged and like a lot of people do. You gotta look at yourself. And like you said, Sarah, what do we contribute?
Right. Well,
Yeah.
in order to change anything, you have to be able to face your own bullshit.
That's it. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Oh, man.
So what about you, Lise? What's your wake up story?
My wake up story.
Yes, we all have one.
Like how do you mean wake up? Like spiritually wake up, or like? Well, I mean, like what kind, like what kind of wake up are you talking about?
Like when you kind of woke up to everything that was going on. How did you in the world? Did you come slow, fast? Did it hard to? Did you fight it?
Well, it sort of started when I was getting disaffected with religion in general.
And
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. It says my internet connection is unstable again.
You were breaking up, but I hear you now.
Criminy sake. Okay, you can hear me, guys. Okay, good. Yeah. So like, but it really started.
Up again.
Can you hear
there
me?
you go. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, this is really freaking annoying. Okay. Well, come on. Okay, you can hear me now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. It really started in earnest in 2013. Let's say, well, actually, fall of 2012. Actually, December 2012, I got sick a lot, and I missed out on work, and it basically got me to rethink stuff. So, and then I can't put it into words. It's
basically health related.
Well, that too, but it's just
a whole lot of things.
A whole lot more.
I guess you ended up with time to go through the internet, you know what I mean? To start seeing stuff or
Yeah, there's actually a gal here. She's no longer on Twitter, but she was known as LA Writer Chick. And in 2013, she really helped me like learn more about, the whole NWO thing. So, and I'm not talking about the stable in WCW.
Right.
So, not talking about that, but just I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain because there's the public stuff that I talk about, and then there's the really, really, really private stuff.
Right. Understood.
Right. That we all kind of need to hold on to a little bit of that because.
Oh yeah.
If you share everything, you don't have anything left in your cup.
Yeah.
and I can't obviously because I trust you guys, but it's my awakening. It impacts more than just me. There's a whole bunch of other. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I can't.
I'm not sharing that part of my story. But
no.
I've had to walk away from a lot of people.
Yeah.
But I don't wish them any harm.
No.
And I don't want to say anything that casts them in a bad light.
Right. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure there's people too
whether it's deserved or not, we don't go down to where our enemies are or,
Right.
That's not.
No, I agree. That's what they want.
That's right.
I'm
just getting tickled here because I'm looking at this art. I've got to ask you, Tom.
Yeah.
What the fuck with the sun? Do you think that is that a simulator? The sun was
Television.
yellow when I was a kid. Yellow
I
to
know.
orange.
As one who has watched at least sunrises every morning for 8 years of midnights, and as many sunsets as I can get, I don't know what the hell that thing is up there half the time.
No, because I'm not a sunrise person. I'm not a morning person. Never have been. Admit it. I'm good with it. But
I worked midnights on the ocean, and you know what I mean. I went up every morning on the boardwalk and watched that sun come up just because I was at
well,
work.
I
You know?
understand that. And being
Yeah.
an East Coaster, that's when you'd have to catch it.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'd have been dead asleep.
But really, do you notice the changes in it?
I do, and I noticed that. I mean, just not yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday when I was taking my walk. The sun was actually out. It was more towards the setting. I guess it was
Right.
around 4 o'clock, and it wasn't orange, and I could look right at it and make out the
Right.
perfect circle. You know, like I'm staring right at the sun, looking at the circle, going, "Yeah, that makes fucking sense." Yeah, I'm looking
Yeah,
at the
and
sun.
how can you look at it? Remember how
Yeah.
I mean, your eyes
Exactly, you know, and it's
swear,
white.
I think it's artificial as shit. And
Yeah,
I'm looking at one in the Telegraph from UK.
Yeah.
And it says world's largest artificial sun shines brightly for the first time.
Yeah, I've seen
mean-
a Twitter guy. Somebody he calls himself John Connor. I think we all follow him.
Oh
He's-
yeah, John. Yeah.
John always
I
posts
like
stuff
John
on
a
that.
lot.
Yep. He's always
he's Mr. Sin.
yeah,
He
yeah,
calls it the sin.
yeah. He does. Yeah, he does. And he's right. I mean, you know, the information he puts up there, we're seeing weird shit. You know,
Mhm. Yes.
and those of us that notice, like we get looked at like we have 5 heads, but I know what I've looked at my whole life. I know what I've been looking at because I've paid attention. Stars, all of it. I go out at night. Last night, the moon, we had they sprayed at sunset, like I said, so it looked like,
Right.
but the stars were coming out and there wasn't spray. And I'm like, oh my God, we're going to get some fucking stars tonight. So I went outside and I kind of looked at it and there was the moon and you could see it clearly. 20 minutes later, I walked out I was to show my daughter somebody. I wanted to take her over and look at Orion's belt. The whole sky was covered in white. The moon was it looked like it was in a fog bowl. And they weren't clouds. They were just
with the halo around it.
The
I know what you're
halo,
talking
yes,
about.
yes. And I'm like, where did this even come from? Like, you just can't get a day anymore where they don't ever leave it alone, ever.
No.
Um,
and that's another point I do want to point out because that's a real point of contention with me.
Mhm.
These are not just your average everyday Delta flights that are spraying this shit.
No, yeah.
These things are headed up at Mach 10 to where, what is this, a flight to the moon?
Yeah.
And since when did we start flying to the moon?
Right. Vertical,
Because
straight
they're
lines.
headed straight up. And
I
then
know.
some of them you go and there's some guy on YouTube that did a lot of videos. He was right by an airport and they're holograms.
Mhm.
What the hell is actually spraying?
I know. I've seen that actually. I know. Videos of that. And you're like, what the hell is that? It's to me, how the fuck don't people see it? That's the biggest thing, to me. How do people not see straight squiggly lines going up to the sky or the X's or the circular, or 6 planes in a row? Like, I mean, what more do you need? Like,
my favorite, the wave clouds.
Yes, the fingerprint pattern.
The frequency clouds.
Yes.
It shows there's a meme on that where it's the Tesla tech and they show you what the frequencies do in the cloud, and there's the cloud next to it, and you're like, okay.
Yeah, and I'm sure those frequencies are only
coming off of the next rads.
You can.
That guy was brilliant. That Weather War 101.
Yeah.
He left. That left a real hole.
It did,
But at least he got us on to the next rads.
Yeah. And guys like Mike Morales who are so in detail now still, guys like him, they're gonna, is he gonna be commercially viable?
Oh, I don't know what'll happen with him. I haven't
know.
heard that. I don't know what he decided to do, but boy, he better be careful.
Yeah, I mean,
$46,000.
Is that what?
That's the fine.
Yeah, 46,000. Yeah, go fuck.
I'm sorry. That's
exactly
my blood.
Exactly, Tom. It's okay. You can just yell it out loud.
Right. You know, I mean, for free speech in America. Yeah. Okay. You know,
Free
and
speech? What?
yeah, you
What
know,
the hell's that?
and
Right.
those will be the places too. Like, you know, when these fines start coming out, and of course people don't have any of this money, there'll be certain places where you go. It won't be, you know, it'll be these work camp jails where you pay off the money. Like again,
Right.
things we see in movies. You know what I mean? That we go, those are the bad guys.
Or your
Or
your social credit score takes a
it
46,000 negative hit.
Hmm.
yeah, it's like, all those, like, all the Charles Dickens novels about, like, working conditions in the 1800s in London, like
Right.
Oliver Twist. It's going to be like making that
Hmm.
seem like a cakewalk. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
Right.
It's
I mean,
true.
seriously.
Right.
I
While
know.
all this technology's over here and you've got this technocratic class that's going to be living in this little fantasy land over here,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
You know, I don't know what
hauling
those
their
people are
little
smoking.
cars around and whatnot.
Yeah, until they're not allowed to anymore, and only the elites are
Right. But,
driving
you
around.
know, like we were talking, look, there's kids, right now in China that are being forced to make these damn iPhones. It's not like it's something new.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
you know.
The problem with America is that we've always been told it'll never happen here.
Yep,
But
yep.
we accept that it happened other places and bought the products. And I mean, we're all to frickin' blame.
I agree. You know,
Yeah.
and you know, there's like I try to explain to people, if the same people who, like you said, ignore it. There's consequences for ignoring this. We're paying the
Yep.
consequences
Well,
now.
that's how that damn thing got in our reality
Yeah.
because we're allowing these elite people to. The chimney sweep guy that came the other day, he was aware. And one thing he brought up, he was like, when I was a kid, my mom put me on the Greyhound and I went over to the farm for the summer.
Hmm.
He's like, "There's no way in hell I would have put my kid on a Greyhound."
Yeah.
You know, and not only that, then he pointed out how many kids go missing.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's just but they do the whole thing. I got really pissed off about the Jeffrey Epstein thing.
Hmm.
Hmm.
They made a mockery of every quote unquote truther out there that played that game. The whole it didn't kill Jeffrey. All you're talking about is the one person they want you talking about.
Well,
Yep.
that's true. That's exactly true. However, it's fallen apart a little bit now and I know they want to blame Prince Andrew and stuff,
Yeah.
but you know, people are still. I keep pushing it, and that is the one thing. If people could digest, that would get people to say, "What the hell is going on here?" Because you know,
Well, the same people who are doing that support Trump and he's friends with him. I mean, it
yeah.
just beats all I've ever seen.
Yeah, and that's the blind eye. People like, you know, you go, oh, Clinton and Epstein, but you won't acknowledge the Trump and Epstein picture. Like, are you like, don't you get it? It's the whole, they don't want to let
Yeah.
go of that. Oh, well, what would we do without them? I don't know. Freedom, not pay taxes, and
Anything,
no more
anything. I don't
war.
know. Let's see if we could build a road. I think we could probably handle it.
Yeah, I think we can figure it out. You know, I mean, considering it's people figuring it out anyway. You know what
Thank
I mean?
you. I've never seen an elitist fill in a pothole in my
No,
freaking life.
no, you know, not at all.
But people, you don't say that to people, and they just look at you like, "Huh?"
I know, I know.
And I mean, but really, if you don't have the mental capacity to lead yourself,
Yeah,
then
yeah.
you have to be led.
Well, and there's
Yeah.
people too that are so blinded by that fact. Well, we do the roads for a job, for money, and you know we use that money to live. And that, well, in a world where all of this was not being suppressed, you'd have all the energy you need. Nobody would need money. So, in other words, you're happy having money over everybody else, or like, what is it that you're holding on to? You know, um, because really, that's people that can't explain how the roads will get made. In the end, it comes down to, well, because I get money. It's about money, you know. And
Yeah.
people can't imagine this world without money, and
I can
I
imagine,
can, you know.
we were tribal. We lived among, there's a saying that only you can only know 180 people or something.
Hmm.
But when we were hunter gatherers, it took 20% of their time, 20% of their time a year to gather food and
Hmm.
hunt.
Hmm.
The
Hmm.
rest, that's 80% of the time where they were with their families and
Yeah,
and
nature and happy and
Exactly.
You know, and this rat race that we've created, I just can't understand why people, you know, and again, even people with money, I don't understand how they don't see how much. Don't you know where
Yeah,
money
like
comes
you
from?
live here too. Is there some other plane of existence or planet? I don't care what you call it, donut, plate,
Yeah,
triangle. I don't give a shit. Wherever we are.
Yeah.
your money's not impervious to this AI smart grid coming in. So your money is actually worthless unless you're planning on being a serf in an AI smart grid. You know, I
Well,
mean,
how about that too? To where that gold, we're tracking the gold to these supercomputers.
yeah, very
You see that
conductive
too?
metal.
Yeah, well, it is. That's what all the quantum chips will be made out of.
Hmm.
Uh-huh. And those quantum chips will be going in these 5G phones. And I don't think people really understand what that quantum's doing. He says it, Geordie Rose, in the D Wave video that I share, repeatedly,
Hmm.
because he tells everything. They're extracting from other dimensions.
Oh yes, that video. It
He,
blows your
I,
mind. It's less than 20 minutes, Tom. Everyone should see it.
it, it's
It's
You
yeah.
just
that guy.
recently,
That guy. It's
It was 2015, and I will
yeah.
send you a picture of what they look like now.
okay. Did you
Now
recently send the video out though? I thought I put it in my to watch.
I know I share it at least once a day with somebody.
Okay, yeah, because I saw it recently,
If
and I
they
saw.
ask me about quantum or anything about that, that's why we're seeing the Mandela effect. What's happening?
Yeah.
Okay, this thing,
Versus.
every time this thing goes up another generation, it creates more dimensions.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's fragmenting our reality
Hmm.
to where we exist in a time to where there was the Berenstain Bears and the Berenstain Bears.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Mandela died in the 90s and he died in 2011.
Yeah, it's nuts. You know.
It is, and another thing, the ones who control the time are the ones in charge.
Hmm.
The Swiss were in control of the world clock forever and ever and ever. Now, ask me what the clock is now.
Sir.
What?
It's quantum.
Oh.
Quantum.
So
And
we're on quantum time. What the hell even is that?
right, I was gonna say, and that is, like they.
Oh, we're here and there. I mean, really, that's what superimposition is,
So like a bilocation.
right?
Uh-huh.
Right. You're
Being
here
in
and
two
there.
places at once. Yeah.
You exist and you don't exist.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
really is. A simple way that I try to explain to people how easy this is to do now in this day and age is to take a pair of the Ready Player One 3D glasses that are going around, whatever they are, the Oculus Rift,
Yeah.
put them on, and ask yourself how the hell they're doing that. How are you decoding an entirely new reality all around you? And when you
Well,
think about that, everything you're saying is completely feasible, and people
yeah.
can't connect it.
No. No, and it's really not. That guy breaks it down really, really good there.
He does.
Mr. Stent.
All right, I'll check it out definitely. Because I put it in my watch later. I know I did. I remember
But
seeing you said it.
basically, this thing, the way it exponentiates is just, we'll never see 2045 before singularity. I'm thinking 2024, 25 at the latest.
Hmm.
Just because how much it exponentiates. Every time it reaches a new cycle. When you go, I will send you two pictures. I'm going to send you a picture of the original black cube D Wave.
Okay.
And then I'm going to send you a picture of what they just built at the Fermi Lab.
Okay.
Over in Chicago, outside of Chicago. And it is, what would you say that thing is? About 3 stories high, Lisa?
Oh, the
That room that's
oh.
that's
Yeah, that's huge.
It's a quantum computer.
It's huge. It's like the way the computers were in like the 70s, in the 60s.
No, it's bigger than that.
It's bigger than that?
It's like an underground pyramid, but that's square. Hold on. Let me
Okay.
send that to you, Tom, because you're
Where is it? Where is it being? Where?
okay. Well, you know about Fermilab, right? You know that they're sending the neutrinos
Right.
because
But go ahead.
the
Go ahead.
neutrinos experiment.
Okay. I'm not sure I'm familiar with it, actually, Sarah.
That's okay.
If you talk more, I might catch on to, but from what you said.
Well, I tell you, Tom, this only happened after I had that hurricane, and it was so unnatural that the rest of my veil burned awakening.
Okay.
And I realized that these elitists that we're screaming about and losing it over are not the whole story here.
Mhm. My internet connection is unstable again.
So I'm sending the D-Wave one to you.
Okay.
And now I'm looking for this gold room.
Okay. Thank you.
And I can run you through it. It won't take long
Okay.
for you to get it. You're a sharp guy. You watch that thing with Geordie Rose, and I think you and I probably have a conversation. You'll be like, "Oh, God."
Okay.
So
I'll watch it
they're
before next
doing
time we talk for sure.
is what they're doing is they have allowed. Remember, we all knew with CERN that they were opening a portal. Well,
Mhm.
why would you open a portal? You either want to get out or pull something in.
Mhm.
It's an opening, right?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Well, what's in an opening in? It's not an opening in our atmosphere. It's an opening interdimensionally.
Mhm. Within the
So-
very fabric of space itself, I guess.
Right. Well, plasma.
Plasma, right.
We've been lied to about all that. So until you get that, you can't really see what would you pierce through the plasma.
Right. Well, you could see that as they add this entire layer of plasma now with all the spray,
Right.
that they're doing.
Exactly. So what they're doing is what I think we're about to go into. We all know that we've got a, for lack of a better term, higher self.
Mhm.
Yes.
That somewhere up there in an, I don't even know if it's up there, over there, wherever it is we're a part. It's almost like we're dreaming and this is our dream self.
Mhm. Yes.
And we're
Yes.
almost in a video game, we're organic beings in an organic video game
Mhm.
Mhm. Mhm.
that now has been messed with by dark magicians because we came here with free will and blah, 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 blah.
Mhm. And we have to choose it.
Not
So,
to mention, if you get
Yeah.
right down to it, it tells you, just by coming into this reality, we've separated from source to go experience something.
Mhm.
Yes.
So, the term Satan, but the dark force or
the opposer,
Archons,
whatever.
yeah,
Yeah,
whatever.
archons, yeah, whatever. Yeah.
whatever
Demiurge.
flavor floats your boat. I don't, our language is so weaponized. That's a whole nother show.
I know. Oh, you're right. You are correct.
I'm going to offend somebody because, well, I'm not Christian. Well, I don't believe in that. I had somebody call me a witch yesterday. It was so great. I said, get away from me before I zap you.
Oh, it's amazing,
And they showed me the King James Bible, and they're like, I don't see where you use salt to get rid of demons. And I'm we're not all Bible readers. Does that shock you?
Yeah, I mean,
There's my store, Tom.
There you go. See, I'm not alone.
Well, that shit's funny. Y'all got to.
It is.
Absolutely.
With the King James version too.
Yeah,
To
of
top
course.
it all off.
It's
Oh, shit. So anyway, if you can see past, the sun is the trick, the light is the trick. There's a website on the internet and it's called Trick by the Light. If you've never gone and looked at it, go check it out.
okay. Trick by the
Once
light.
you can get does that make sense now? Right.
Okay. Yeah, he's known I've come here personally my whole life. I've known because there's no other reason. Like I had to have come here for a reason. Because why the fuck else would I come here? Because this place is ridiculous.
Oh, I see it.
I always to myself, this is insane. You know,
Isn't it funny how to some of us it's so obvious it's a clown show?
I know.
Even before we woke up. I mean,
Yes.
where you're just looking around going, really? All
Yeah.
this for a fucking McDonald's?
Yeah, you know, and I think to myself, why are people so so dumb? I don't understand common sense, not intellectually, and even spiritually. I'm talking about on a common sense level. I've
Yeah.
always thought, why I don't understand, and that's been my whole life in school, all of it. Like,
Right.
and again, I don't mean in a scholastic way. I mean in just an everyday life, the right
Yeah.
thing to do, common sense way of living.
Right.
And to me, I've always put myself out there, and usually at great cost to myself, and it's usually for someone else or whatever. I don't
Heck
care.
yeah.
What's right is right, and
Right.
I've always felt that's what I've been here to do. And I look back at my life and look at all the experiences I've had as far as different jobs, this, that, and I'm like, I feel like it's all been one big school to understand what I understand now, that I
Right.
didn't understand when I first came into this world.
Well, it's hard to when you're slapped on the ass right when you get born and,
Yeah.
shot up with drugs and
Yeah, yeah,
vaccines and
Circumcised.
yeah, all of it.
circumcised.
Yeah, absolutely.
It
And it
starts with
just,
trauma.
maybe it does. And the entire way of life on this planet is trauma in every fashion,
Yeah.
and a lot of it is subtle trauma too that people don't even realize is happening.
Right.
So it's, and I don't know, or did like you said, the higher self come here to try to create this change, or did an evolving soul come here to wake up from this dream and evolve? Like, there's so many things that I ask myself.
Yeah, and there is, I think anybody that tries to give you a definitive answer is, kind of at least fooling themselves.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
that's why I just hearing each other out instead of getting so lost in the details of this and that psyop and this religion and
But
that.
regardless of which one of those you adhere to, I think the next level is to take us from this level into an even faker matrix.
Yeah, at this rate, that's what's happening. Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
to where you're uploaded,
Yeah.
your consciousness. But here's the thing. Here's the one thing, and I've searched. I have researched. I need to put Lisa on this because she's my research queen.
Woohoo! Okay. I'm gonna take notes about what I need to write. Okay, so okay. Okay.
Well, you can do anytime. You don't have to do it. At
I know,
any
but I'm writing it down so I don't forget, hon.
Okay.
I do the same thing,
What
Lisa.
it is I don't think they figured out how to capture our soul.
Hmm.
Hmm.
You're saying they have not, or they have?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think we have to
They're
give it to
working
them.
on it. But I have to think that Creator built a fail safe in,
Uh-huh. Right.
like a fail safe, like you would almost like the Illuminati does to their mind control victims, to where if you try to wake up, well, you get real sleepy or you kill yourself or
Right.
what the hell ever.
Yeah, the
Right.
Omega program.
Like a fail
Yes.
safe, because you have to protect creation at the very base level, wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm.
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 I mean,
I would think that failsafe would be our choices that we make, whether based in ignorance or not.
well, come on, because my choices to have not made this 5G happen.
Oh no, I don't mean on their level. I mean in our own
I'm
lives,
back to the technology. I'm
Right.
back
I
to
got
the
you. I got you.
technology.
Okay.
If they could take our souls and zap them and put them in there, they would.
Right.
They would. That's the nature of who they are. I
But-
mean, the thing that we showed you is them manipulating our pineal gland.
Mhm.
So they're
Oh
able to
yes.
manipulate the soul. But whenever they talk about uploading, they talk about uploading your consciousness.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, I don't think your consciousness is your whole soul. There's your digital twin, Lisa.
Mm-hmm.
Your digital twin is the consciousness. So they can have a copy of you to have in that matrix.
Mm-hmm. The doppelganger.
Right. But not the whole you,
Mm-hmm.
because your mind, body, heart,
Mm-hmm.
your consciousness isn't all of you.
Yeah. Yeah,
No,
I
that
follow.
I follow. I follow what
Does
you're
that
saying.
make
So,
any sense?
Yeah, it's like not exactly the same, but I keep on thinking about the whole ancient Egyptian, Ka and Ba thing,
Right.
mhm.
aspects of the soul.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. So I think they've gotten the consciousness to where they can map your brain. I
Hmm.
mean, you go look at, if you want to get your mind blown, go check out Obama's Brain Initiative.
Uh,
I showed the map. I live by one. Pretty much a lot of the people that I know on Twitter live by one of these facilities, which is interesting.
Oh, really?
Within 45 minutes of them, I'll send you the map.
Okay.
But
Yes.
they've mapped out all our brains, but I just don't think I think what the AI wants is to be alive, right?
hmm
That's why it's trying to come here, and
But
it
would you say
wants to
then
be
using
physical.
us as a conduit would be only possible if we, as an entire species, chose it? So if the
Right.
entire species chooses it, people like us end up being screwed, but are not.
Or are we like bad code to where it can't happen?
That's what I was. That's what I'm wondering. Like, is that, or, could that be the reason that?
That's what me and some of the other TIs that have been targeted by this AI for 20, 30, 40. I'm at 40 years now.
Wow. Oh,
But
gosh.
yes, I've been targeted since I was a little bitty kid. So I've got a lot of experience with this thing. And see, from me thinking it to be all these different things, and then after that hurricane, it clicked. I knew that these people weren't stalking me. They were being programmed to do it.
Hmm.
It took all the personal aspect away. These people don't hate me. They're not running down the street. Well, you know what I did? I started jumping out at them. I started doing weird shit, and
Nice.
they would just walk away.
Yes.
So I got my power back. And I hope
Yes.
that if any TI is listening to this doesn't know the AI aspect, the program's after you because you are special.
hmm
You are an individual. Your soul is not for sale.
That's
You were
right.
sent here to crash the system. Stay strong.
Yes.
I agree.
Yes.
Stay
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I
Yes.
agree.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Until you're dead, you're not dead.
Yes.
And that's how we get through this. Like you said, Tom, it's not hope, but don't allow it to be hope because hope can be crashed.
Right. Right.
Knowing cannot be crashed.
Right.
When
know,
you know that you're on a mission,
got it.
then you can put one foot in front of the other. You're going to have good days, you're going to have bad days. But we are the bad code. It cannot read us. It cannot read everything about us.
hmm
That almost said chill, Sarah, because you're literally saying
Yep.
something a friend of mine have always said, that we don't know what it is. Ever since we were teenagers, we don't know what it is, but we know we're here for a reason, on a mission. And
Yep.
it will be. And as this has all opened up, I've realized this is the mission. That this is definitely.
Well, I just don't want everybody to lose faith because right now they're doing everything they can. And I know I've been harsh on everybody a little bit on Twitter, and I wanted to clear that up
Yeah, but
because I'm not saying that. I'm saying you've got to change your mind about what winning is.
right.
Because if you think that we're all going to come together and all these people, for one thing, 50% of the people here, and I don't mean this ugly, are organic portals.
Mm-hmm.
They were sent here to make a good game.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make them, it just makes them, they're not able to change. They're not, they're beings, yes, but not main players, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that could explain the
Yes.
trance look they go into, the does not compute look.
It's
Exactly.
it's
When I was young, when I was younger, way before I ever woke up and through my whole life, 20s, 30s, when I met somebody who was real, I would be like, "You're real."
Yes.
Have y'all had that experience?
Absolutely. When you're like, wow, you're yeah, because most people, they're not, and they're most
That's
people around
right.
us.
Well, when you understand that, you can quit feeling so fucking beat up by it.
Yeah, it's true.
yes.
You're
It's
not
true.
failing by not waking them up. They're not supposed to wake up, but you've still got to do your damn job.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
your job is
True,
not
true.
their job.
No, you're
don't
right.
need to
I agree.
compare yourself to them. You don't, and I'm not saying we're not better. We're just different. Our
Right.
mission here is different than their mission.
Right. And to waste the energy and stress on them is
Yeah.
what they're here to do to us. You know
And
what I mean?
yes, and that's how I'm turning this. We're
Yeah.
gonna put Twitter down, but hey, think about it. I have met people from all over the world that are beautiful and they're like me, not just like me. We all are very different. That's one
Right.
thing I like about us. You're different, Lisa's different,
Yep.
I'm different.
Yeah.
We all are real. And we all share this one thing is that we're here on this mission, even if it's just to be bad code.
Yeah. Yeah. In a way that, like you said, is a lot of people that are, this is the other part of hope that I look at, where I see the people that are on the cusp, that are in these, cul-de-sacs, that they too have the potential to be that bad code. They're just stuck in certain ways, because so many people might get 85% of what's going on here.
I'll tell
That,
you what, Tom, you'll recognize them because you'll recognize their soul.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you can only go by.
You guys,
And
sorry to interrupt. Sorry to
No,
interrupt. I
ahead,
think
Lisa, sorry.
I think the meeting might end at 8:43 at 9:43 your time.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not. But let's keep on talking. Just letting you know.
Yeah, we'll talk till it cuts us off.
Yeah.
that's my message to all of us, myself included,
Mhm.
is now instead of looking at this as a fail, network together, support each other.
I agree.
Support the codes that we're here to break the machine.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
And
know,
doing
do
stuff like this.
podcasts for each other. Try to reach the ones that you do see that are out there that are like us that don't know. But as far as trying to wake the ones that just there's nothing there, stop it. You're beating your head against a fucking wall.
Yeah. Even if it is some of our close family members, brothers, sisters, whatever.
Well, look at it as you're sent here to be their protector.
Yeah,
instead
I
of-
do. It's what I've kind of justified it, because I used to get real mad years ago, to be honest, at them, because I'd be like, how do you not want to read this, watch this 10-minute video, and they can't even watch the 10-minute video. I'm like,
You're learning
geez.
something from Harvard, and all of a sudden, then Harvard's not a good source anymore. Well, it can't be both ways. They can't be the best in the country, but this isn't true.
Right, but this part's right, exactly. It's just cognitive
They
dissonance
don't have a
everywhere.
geoengineering program, and they didn't say fluoride hurts children.
Yeah.
I've told people that's when you need to pack up your bag, wish them well, and say goodbye.
No,
Because
you're right.
if you show somebody a fact like that and they don't, they're not going to. They're
They're
a
not.
part of the code that's a part of the machine that's readable. And it's just, I don't know.
No, that makes
stay
sense.
strong. And, whether you decide to stay on Twitter or not is up to every individual. I'm leaving.
Yeah, I don't know because like you said, I'm not looking for some binding contract that they're at, but I'm also not going to run away and, you're going to find. I just think like you said, we need to stay together and keep, everyone from kind of becoming isolated, because that is what they
I'm
want.
just asking everybody to really look at the big picture and do your research. I mean, what kind of laws are being made about social media? I'll try to do research on that and get some facts out, because if they're going to do that, we've all put our necks on the line. I'm not a wussy.
Oh, no.
True.
No,
Definitely not.
Agreed.
I'm not a wussy, but I'm also not a damn idiot.
Right. We want to be able to talk without being, and get this message out without being, like you said,
Well,
they
the
come
more
drag
I've
you out of
come
your house
to
while you're at it.
realize who I'm truly here for, they'll follow me. They'll follow me to my blog.
Yeah.
They'll follow me to my podcast. And I'm actually making real connections and sharing emails with people I've known on here a long time. And I think it's going to work out to be better for me.
No, I think you're
and
right. I think
perhaps
that's
a lot of people.
Yeah, we all need to do that, because, if people just go away, and don't try to keep this going and try to
I'm still going to do my part. And I need people who do decide to stay out front to share my stuff on Twitter.
Of course,
And
of course,
to share what I have to say. but everybody has to make their own decision. And I just feel like, we've talked about it. We're burnt out anyway.
Yeah.
I can't take people from step A all the way through it anymore.
Right.
I,
Well,
I'm,
you've done
I'm
that.
there for people like us, and I can do that in a different capacity, and I think I can do it better.
No, I agree. I think that's a good idea. I think it's something we all need to consider because I like doing this, a lot more than I do screaming on Twitter, at the idiots. You know what I mean? Because
Well,
this
yeah.
is, and if, like you said, if people listen to it and they get a sense of, understanding, and I mean, we could turn this into a much bigger community. There's a lot of things we could do with this,
Yeah, well, I had thought about having a guest on, and I may even do a daily podcast or a weekly podcast.
Yeah,
Or
that's a
I
great
haven't
idea.
decided what I'm going to do, but I'd love to have Twitter greats that I've known for years on there and get their perspective.
Yeah, it's a great idea, and then it becomes more personal too. There's not that machine. You hear the voice, the human inflection, the emotions, and
Yes.
from the person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not just
Yeah.
words. I think it's a
Yeah.
great idea. Great
Because
idea.
we're all sarcastic little bitches.
Yes, we're very funny. I agree.
We are.
Quite entertaining if you ask me.
We're the three amigos, like the
Yes.
movie.
I agree. I like it. So, what do you guys think? Should we kind of commit to this once a week, or what are you guys thinking?
I'm
Do you like-
good.
That's
I'm
fine
good
with
too.
me.
I'm good too. I don't know how
I
you
take
want.
it, man. I take it, man.
I think it too. Like
You
I'm
do,
just
man.
wondering, what you want to set this a certain day, or should we see how it goes each week to see what our schedules are each week?
Well, you guys work that out because I'm really open.
Okay. I'm open most of the time, especially right now.
Well, you
Um,
just have to be super dad, and that's very time
I
consuming.
know. I
You have
didn't
to work
expect
that
it.
Super
around your
dad.
kids'
I did not
schedule.
expect this to last 2 hours today. I know. I'm sorry. And not us. I mean, my previous appointment to this.
Well, you
expected
can't
to
help
be done in
that.
10
They
minutes.
they don't respect your time. You can sit
No.
in our office for 3 hours because we don't value your
Yeah,
time.
it was insane, and that's why I said I'm so glad I don't do this for myself, because I wouldn't. No, but anyway, guys, I'm gonna get rolling.
All right, sweetie.
Should I guess we could talk about it on Twitter what we want to do with this and post it.
Sure.
Should we all just post this like we did last time, or do you guys have links that you want to share, or should we?
Oh, well, well, if you want links, I can give you links.
Well, I was gonna say if you
Yeah,
want.
I'm your link queen.
I know you
I'm your
are,
link
but
queen.
I like that because that's. But if there's anything you guys wanted me to specifically share link wise, if you send to me, I can just make sure it's in there too.
Oh well, good luck, Sharon. Lisa's got you full up.
Okay, all right.
You
I'll
go
use the one-
go in our messages
Mhm.
and share those
And grab
Yep,
those.
Yep.
And I want to.
that'll give them plenty to dig with.
Well, I definitely want to
Yep.
share the link of that video that you were talking about, Sarah. That you say you know.
Okay, I'll
So
send
if you
that
could
to
send me
right
that.
now, sugar.
Yes, thank you.
That'll
And then-
make blood shoot out of your eyes, Tom. Just letting you know.
Oh, great. Should I not watch it tonight?
No,
Should I
you-
wait till the morning? I don't know. I'm in a good mood right now. You guys got me in a good mood. I don't know if I want to go that way right now. I might wait till the
Right.
morning.
There
I'll
you
go out.
go.
I'll look at the chemtrails, get pissed off, and then get right in the mood. For
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
There you go. That sounds better. You want to?
Yeah, I'll do it in the nice secession.
All right. Good
So,
night.
all right,
guys.
Sarah. Good night, Lisa.
Yes.
I'll talk to you guys soon.
Okay, it's good talking to you
Thank
guys.
you.
Good talking with you
Lisa.
guys.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yep.
Bye bye. Bye bye.